¿Qué tal? Soy el 12. Bienvenidos al que sí que es el último episodio de la 6.1. En el anterior nos cargamos entre comillas a Rerry y ahora estamos como en una especie de postgame, por así decirlo, donde nos están soltando facts de esta gente. Así que vamos a hablar con
How have you been
ellos.
holding up? Any adverse reactions? If you start to take a turn for the worse, make sure.
You don't need to worry about me, Grandmaster. I'm fine.
What?
You played an indispensable role in the battle for Krai. Sometimes, when people praise you, it's because you deserve it.
Let's do a quick demonstration. Albedo, that was an incredible feat of alchemy. The pressure was on, but
Thank you. I can't take all the credit, though. Durin played a big part in
see? Did you catch that? A masterclass in how to take a compliment.
Okay, yeah. I did work pretty
Este
hard to help
pobre
prepare for the
chaval, tío.
battle. No point
Le voy a
denying
tirar
that.
al banner de una, el de Turing, cuando salga.
You guys!
Hey, look who's bounced back. Looking good, traveler.
Seems like you've recovered. You won't need to take any more medication.
Can I get you a drink?
Huh? You know how to order at a bar now?
Handling a drinks order is ridiculously simple compared.
Paimon believes it. Here, clear. To be totally honest, though, Paimon didn't quite follow all the details.
Don't worry, that's completely understandable.
To put it in the simplest terms, we saw how our enemy stole the power of Kuvaki. And that gave us the... When facing an enemy you have no hope of defeating, it's best not to engage them in... So, instead of looking for a way to overpower him, we decided to help Columbina get strong enough to at least stand up to him in a fight. For this to work, we had to analyze his
¿Dónde
mode
está
of attack,
Colombina, por cierto?
confirm who his main target was. For added security, we prepared a total of 4 arrays. The alchemical array absorbs
Bueno,
his
entiendo
abyssal
que
power.
Colombina estará
Then Durin
permanentemente en
processed it to
Krai,
render
¿no?
it usable by
Por la
Columbina.
mecánica esta de la bendición lunar y toda la pesca.
That power enabled her to do what would otherwise have been nigh on impossible.
What surprised me was that Dainsleif actually agreed to, given his history with Rerir, he had every right to...
It must have been a painful choice to make.
Absolutely. He was torn between 2 paths, but in the end, he made his choice and stuck to it resolutely. Anyway, however you cut it, everyone gave a stellar performance.
¿Cinemática? No.
That's the only reason you're here.
Yes. I've thought a lot about it. And I've realized that you, me, and I think this is very important. So I felt I had to come and tell you.
Well, this is a new one. I'm so moved. I can't even hold my teacup. If that's all, you can leave now.
Do you not want to be friends with me? Or is it that you prefer being co-workers?
What is this, Columbina? Are you deliberately testing my patience threshold? Right now, my politeness module is active. But if you say another word...
If your politeness module was active, wouldn't you say the word please at some point?
Polonia, please see Lady Columbina to the...
Will you still invite me to your next tea party?
What?
Yes, I think you will. Bye-bye, dear Sandrone.
Toma ya. ¿Estabas hablando con una amiga?
Last time, the Wild Hunt escorted you out. Would you rather I handled it myself this time? We just wanted
Eres
to...
un poco vendehumo,
see how
Sandrome,
you
entonces
were doing
tampoco
now
me
that
das
it's all over.
tanto miedo.
Why? Out of concern for my safety? I hope you didn't seriously think that the Rayhir of Solnari would be able to lay so much as a finger upon me, given how prepared I was.
Mostly because you kind of helped us out, so we just wanted to check you were okay. Looks like all your robots are fixed, huh?
Oh, don't you worry about that. Tea time is already a write-off. The visitor before you managed to kill my appetite. If you're in the mood for tea, go ahead and help yourself. My coasters are still missing in action, though. Use this notebook instead.
Whoa! Pretty hefty notebook. Look at all those...
You can ignore those. They're just dumb scribblings. I doodle and write in my free time. Sometimes Sometimes I remember the distant dreamlike past. Sometimes I imagine the far-flung future. And other times, I grit my teeth and note down all the crazy nonsense going on in the present. Some people do the crosswords in the newspaper. This is my equivalent of that. Trying to predict the future is like daydreaming. And writing about the present just makes me furious. The past is my favorite. If nothing else, it's already set in stone, so I don't have to rack my brains trying to figure it all out. Huh. Although, having said that, the only vaguely interesting memory in my past is probably that guy they call Lord Artificer. Who else? Pretty much all the mecha and Fontaine are his personal handiwork.
Wait, are you saying you know him?
I mean, I guess we were friendly enough. Yep. In fact, I'm probably the only normal person left who knew him at all.
La única persona
We used
normal.
to chat occasionally back when he was still around. Before he passed away, he asked me to destroy all his manuscripts. I honored his request, but I did read through everything first before destroying them. I mean, I couldn't let the genius of Lord Artificer Alain Guillotin disappear like that.
So, that's...
I just told you, those are my equivalent of crossword puzzles. Alain's work was like epic poetry. The formulas in my notebook are just silly little riddles in comparison. Not that there's anything bad about them. I mean, at least, solving those riddles isn't going to hurt anyone. Anyway, while we're on the topic, I might as well tell you about what happened to him and his friends. Alain Guillotin had two close buddies, Renee and Jacob. They spent their childhood years together in the Narzissenkreuz Institute. They were all quite competitive, so there was some rivalry between them. But it was a friendly rivalry. But beneath the friendship and the rivalry ran something deeper. Unfortunately, childhood would end. The prophecy would come true. The apocalypse would arrive. And the future, a mad dream that would normally only capture the minds of lunatics. And if Renee and Alain had been people of lesser wits, that dream would probably have ended up as something for them to joke about but alas, they were some of the sharpest minds around. They nurtured that dream with the full power of their intellect. The first of them to fall under its spell was Renee. Against Alain's wishes, he persisted in experimenting on a mutual friend of theirs to try and save their life. Alain did not approve. It's complicated. Alain wanted to believe that Renee only did what he did for the sake of their friendship. Perhaps the seed that would grow into a nightmare had already sprouted in Renee's mind.
El diablo.
Even then, the next time they met, Renee's soul had been completely engulfed by the dream of salvation. His futile attempt to change the tide of fate only resulted in... And although that wave died down eventually, I hear that it just recently came back with a vengeance. As I understand, Renee wanted to live out his dream of salvation.
Oh, es verdad, sí.
But I'm told that the attempted resurgence finally died out for good. At long last, Renee awoke from his deluded dream. What do you think of Renee? Do you admire his transcendent genius? His view that any price? Or do you despise him? Dismiss him as an evil madman? Same difference, really. Just a matter of perspective.
Le admiro.
Doesn't surprise me. You share one thing in common, after all. You both want to be the savior. The only difference is, your dream came true, and his... Well, I don't like fanatics who give up their whole lives for their ideology. Nor do I like fools who let their delusions take control. Maybe I could understand if Renee had just been an ordinary person. Anyway, that's enough about Renee. Now, moving on to Alain. He managed to put a stop
Madre
to
mía,
his
esto no me
first
daba
storm
tiempo ni de
whipped
coña en
up
el
by
anterior
Renee.
vídeo, ¿sabes?
But after that, Alain lost his friends and family. To his credit, I suppose, the loss of his family and friends was purely a tragic accident. It's not like Alain sacrificed them for his cause. After that, the only thing supporting his work was the same dream that had dragged his closest friend down to the abyss. But although the desire to save Fontaine drove him to found the Fontaine Research Institute, Alain continued to reject any form of transcendental. I think that formulas and machines derived solely from human intellect were the only thing that gave him a sense of spiritual comfort. Yet Alain's intellect was simply too great. It barely left him space to breathe in his lifetime. Once he realized that the end of his life was approaching, he finally accepted the truth. The Nazissenkreuz Institute needed someone. He quit working on his formulas, trading them in for the fairy tales
mucho
that had played
texto,
such a
plan,
formative
vaya
role in his
fumado, tú.
childhood, but which he
Esto es
barely
increíble.
touched in his adult life.
O sea, es absoluto
He told
cine,
me
pero
that the director of the Nazissenkreuz Institute used to read those fairy tales to the children. As I think that all he wanted at that time in his life was to be
me
able
hace
to
una
sleep
gracia
deeply
el
without being
robot con el
plagued by
sombrero, tío.
depression. By that point,
También hemos
nothing
estado
else
ahí.
really mattered. At the very end, he laid down to rest in the ruins of the former Nazissenkreuz Institute orphanage. While the Fontaine Research Institute he had founded, many years after that, tensions over competing dreams would once again cause a rift. And that is the story of two people from the Nazissenkreuz Institute. One went all in on his fantasy of salvation without ever looking back. The other sought desperately to burn bright in his life, even though he wasn't sure. I do sometimes wonder, why is it that people like them have such grand hopes of saving the world? Even the grandest tree starts as a tiny seed. So perhaps, for each of them, their mission they were young children with friends and family who mattered to them. Desires to explore the meaning of life. Or maybe they just wanted to find something to anchor themselves within the chaos, to stop them getting quietly swept away by the storms of life. But instead, the search for their own salvation took them down the rocky road laid out by... Do you think the desire to save oneself is enough of a justification to try and save the world?
O sea,
The way you said that sounded just like Alain. I asked him the same question back when he was in his prime, putting all of
Cuando
his
estaba en su
energy into
prime.
his work. He gave the exact same no elaboration, just a quick short answer before getting right back to his work. All right, tea time's over. I owe Arlecchino a favor for telling me these stories. I'll have to bring a whole sack of gifts the next time I visit the House of the Harp. I'm gonna go tinker with Polonia now. You guys can do whatever you want, as long as it doesn't involve interrupting me. Polonia, exit hibernation mode. Begin diagnostics.
vale. Ok. Pues ahora sí que sí. Ah, sí. Esto lo he recogido. Es que lo he grabado todo de una. Hostia, se me ha hecho un poquito larga esta última parte, ¿eh? Pero... A ver, es interesante, pero hostia, es muy mazacote.
Ad Astra Abyss.
Con vuestro
Thank you for
permiso, para tampoco que se quede el vídeo tan corto, como tengo que gastar resina para lo de la constelación, que aún no puedo reclamarla, me queda poquito. No, perdonad, lo de la constelación se ve a través de aquí. Ah, bueno, esto lo puedo reclamar, ¿no? Ahí está. Lo de la constelación está... No. ¿Dónde está? ¿Lo han quitado? Ah, vale, aquí, vale, sí. Veis que me queda nada. Esta semana ya lo puedo reclamar. Pero bueno. Vaya estafa esto, por cierto. O sea... Durísimo. Uy, me he bugueado. Vale. Pues vamos a gastar un poco de resina, que no me salía. Y de paso hablamos un poco de esta versión. Me ha gustado bastante. Me ha faltado un poco de mapa. Me habría gustado una expansión de mapa, pero bueno, tampoco lo he hecho demasiado en falta, la verdad. El tema de RR y demás aunque también a lo mejor se te puede hacer un poco largo, es bastante interesante la historia, sobre todo el lore de Caenria. Y si tuviese que sacarle una pega, ha sido este último combate contra él, que te dan los personajes. A ver, te dan los personajes para que los pruebes, sobre todo y se te pongan los dientes largos. Con esto quiero decir que veas lo que puedes tener para que les tires. Aparte del lore de que se supone que van juntos a por el Rary y demás, ¿sabes? Pero mira, o sea, mira, 30.000 y ni siquiera voy con el equipo bueno, ¿sabes? De la skill. 6.000, ¿sabes? Y con la Nefer que hacía a lo mejor 22.000 con la ulti cuando lo tiraba de aquella manera. ¿Me entendéis? Además de que son personajes que no he usado. Es que no sé ni cómo funcionan. Sí que sé que Flint tiene como una especie de doble mecánica o una doble ulti o no sé qué. ¿Qué es esto? Ah, mira, no tenía foto de esto. Pues toma. Lauma sí que hice la prueba. Y sí que me gustó. Lo que pasa es que me salió Kiki en el, en el 50-50, así que nada. Y eso, y esa última parte sí que se me ha hecho un poco más larga. Pero bueno, aparte de eso y del texto que nos meten, bastante interesante en general, sin duda. Sí, sí. De hecho, me está gustando más esto que algunas partes de Natlan. Pero bueno, Natlan está un poco overhateada, pero la verdad me está gustando más Krai a nivel estético, sobre todo, me parece flipante. Y la verdad estoy disfrutando mucho estas últimas versiones, pero creo que con esto ya lo tengo. Sí, con esto ya tengo el punto, así que me despido y hasta la próxima versión. Bueno, sí, hasta la próxima versión, sí, porque será cuando metan al Durin y haré uno, mira, 4.000 protos, muy bien, la verdad. Haré un vídeo de tiradas o un short, no lo sé todavía, y haré la versión. Nos vemos el próximo día. Chao, chao.